Hello, our Facebook friends and families. My name is Pastor Curtis Staples.
And I'm Pastor Pam Staples.
We are pastors of the Call Worship Center, and we want to welcome you to our first episode of The Call.
The talk for today is, I'm not going back to church. So let's talk about it.
Thank you for joining us today in our first topic, I'm not going back to church. There's been a lot of talk about ever since the virus and the shelter in place. Pastor Pam's been a lot of talk about people not going to church. They're comfortable or they're scared. A lot of different reasons why people or they may feel disconnected. So many reasons why people aren't going back to church. And we want to talk about that. I want to hear from some of our listeners, some of our viewers. Why aren't you? What's stopping you, or what is your biggest hang up with church? That's a good one. What's your biggest hang up with church? And maybe you had a hang up before the shelter in place, before the pandemic. So we want to talk about something. We want to get your thoughts, get your opinions, because chances are, if you're feeling that way, there's someone else feeling the same way.
That's right.
What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah. I think sometimes the first thing that comes to my mind is habit breaking. Sometimes we have habits that get broken. And so when we break that habit, and when we stopped coming to church during the quarantine, it broke a habit that we had. It broke something that we was used to doing, and we was doing it on a routine basis. We were doing it all the time. Then all of a sudden, we had to do it no more.
So you're saying that we came to church out of habit?
Yes, I am.
So it was a habit to come to church. It was not. Could we say it was relationship built, but it was a habit that something we always did, not even giving it a thought, because a habit is something that we do without even giving it a thought. Sometimes I think that's, go ahead.
Yeah, and then some of us, that's what we do, we pencil Christ in. Mm-hmm. We write them on our calendars, like I gotta be in church from this 1 hour or these 2 hours, and so this is my weekly routine. So I come in only for that time, and then when I don't have to come anymore, that habit is broken. So I'm not doing that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. So when it's time for them to call me back into that habit, it's just like being an alcoholic, and you finally stop drinking, and then you go back around the same type of people that's still drinking, you are not doing that anymore, so you don't go that way anymore. But with Christ, we should be addicted to Him. So it shouldn't be that we don't go back to the addictions, because we are addicted to Him. So it's a good addiction. So when we broke that habit, we should be willing to pick that habit back up. That's one habit that I can say that I would gladly pick back up, because that's something that I think that a lot of people ran away from.
And I think if we can say something greater than a habit, because a habit can be broken, but when you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, and you know Him to be your Lord and Savior, you know that He is a promise keeper and a way maker. We know all those things that we've been taught, we've heard, and they even make songs about it. When we know that, I think it's more than just a habit, because when you have a relationship with Him, you're going to find some way to get in His presence.
Yeah, well, we talking about why they're not coming back right now.
Why they're not coming back.
And I think that a lot of times, people have a lack of faithfulness. They inconsistent sometimes, and it's hard for us to break a routine and then try to go back to that same routine and put it back into place when we've been out of that situation for so long.
So I guess the question is why am I not coming back? Why am I not coming back? And as a matter of fact, if I decide to come back. Why am I coming? Maybe that's the question. Why am I coming back?
Well,
why am I coming back to church?
Right now.
What am I coming back for? What am I coming back to do?
Yeah, well, we'll get back to that in segment 2.
In segment 2?
But you know, I think a lot of times what happens is, you know, when your habits are broke, you start to not miss that fellowship anymore. You start to not miss those things. You start to not miss the connection. You don't miss the people anymore. You don't miss being in attendance. You don't miss the getting up. You don't miss the, you know, coming through the door, and you don't miss the assignment. You know, and that's what happens a lot of time, our assignments. We put those assignments down. You know, and those assignments could be the ushering, those assignments could be running the sound room, the assignment could be the musician, it could be being in the choir. That assignment get put to the side. You know, when you say, I'm not going back, that's what you're saying, I'm not coming back to. I'm not coming back to be a disciple to Christ. It's, I'm not coming back to doing what God has called me to do. It's not that I'm not the church. It's just I'm not operating anymore in the church. I'm not coming back to
I like that. That's really good. You know, that we can not come back to our assignments, and the assignments are what God has called us to do. And I really believe that majority of people that's not coming back, maybe they were just tired. You know, maybe they're just tired of.
Well, they taking an extra hour of sleep.
You're right.
Too.
You know, maybe they're just tired,
you know?
and now they've gotten to the habit. May have stopped one habit of coming to church, but now they picked up another habit of not coming and getting more rest,
taking another hour, maybe, yeah.
Picking up a second or third job. There's been a lot, you know. So they picked up. They've used this time to try to catch up on what they thought they may have missed out on from coming to church. I think that's kind of hitting the nail on the head. Is that they're using this extra time now, saying, well, I used to go to church, but I could have been doing this. So now they're taking that time to do the things that they always wanted to do.
Now, if this is not you, I want you to put in the comments, why are you not coming back to church?
Yeah.
Tell us your reasons. We're just giving you some opinions that we're thinking about. You know, we just reasoning here. We're not accusing anybody. We're not placing blame on anybody. We're not even saying that this is what you're doing. Tell us why you not coming back to church. Put that in the comments. You know, because being quarantined, it's like it put us in a break from everything. He gave us a break. We were able to stay at home and do absolutely nothing if we wanted to do nothing. We didn't have to go to work if we were in quarantine. You know, when they shut the city down, it kept us from having to go to church, going to work. It kept us from ripping and running. It kept us from being able to hang out with people. It kept us from doing a lot of this stuff. Gave us an excuse.
Yeah, and we kept us from engaging with one another.
We didn't have to contribute.
Yeah, I don't know about most people, but I like to hug. I like to embrace. I like to see people. And when we come to church, I want to shake their hand. And I think the lockdown and quarantine stopped us from doing a lot of that. And we got out of the habit of the fellowship of the brother. The word says, forsake not the fellowship of the brother. Means we forsake not the fellowship. Means we got to stop and think about, you know, what am I giving up? What am I giving up? And what am I gaining? You know, and that's the biggest thing. What am I gaining? So we want you to write in the comments, as Pastor Pam said, write in the comments, what have you gained? What have you gained since the quarantine, since shelter in place, since the lockdown? What have you gained? And she said, why aren't you coming back to church?
See, why aren't you present? You know, why aren't you here for the teachings? Why aren't you here for the ushering? Why aren't you here to run the sound room? Why are you not here to be a doorkeeper? You know, why are you not here on Sunday mornings for Bible study and for Sunday school? You know, these are just questions. We're just asking a question, you know, because the relationship is between you and God, but God gave some assignments for us all of us to do. You know, sometimes we get happy
most people,
and satisfied with doing homework at home.
But I miss when churches were closed, even when our church was closed, I miss the presence. I know we've had services in our home, and we did the Facebook thing and the Zoom, and we invited people in our home, and we had some powerful and anointed services there, and we've had our members on and invited them to our home through Zoom,
but we were
Facebook.
still doing our assignment.
We're still on our assignment.
And our assignment was to preach the word.
That's right.
In season and out of season.
And I believe that as we press on, I don't want to change topics, but I do want to inject this in there if I can. As we continue to press on, we're out there feeding, we say 200 to 400 people a week, driving up in their cars, putting food boxes in. So that was our assignment. We were still feeding and still doing ministry, though the doors may have been closed. The ministry never stopped. So we will continue doing ministry, feeding 200 to 400 people a week. And praying for them.
That I heard a lot of why people say they wouldn't come to church, it was health risk, health issues. Mm-hmm. A lot of it was fear. Even some of it was laziness. Some of it was being afraid. Some of it was having a lack of patience, hope, and love. Some of it was feeling like you were let me see what I'm trying to say here.
Well,
some of it was the feeling like you just felt like it wasn't necessary anymore. Mm-hmm. Because of your feelings, how you were feeling.
So that was a new habit.
Up in the feelings.
Yeah, it was a new habit. We picked up, because there were many times, I didn't feel like it, but I knew that my feelings, I had to put them to the side. Because there was an assignment, so my assignment from God was greater than my feelings. And I can get over my feelings, but that assignment that God gives us, that's something that you have to have a passion for. When you have a passion for what God has called you to do, no matter how you feel, you're going to press your way forward. Some of my best messages and sermons have come when I was in the pulpit and I didn't feel like getting out of bed that morning. But there's some from what I hear, from what members have told me, they've come and said, "Pat, you preached a great, powerful sermon that spoke to me. But what if I had stayed in bed that day? I didn't feel good, but I pressed my way through because there's a blessing that you're holding when you're not present."
And one thing is we continue to do what Facebook. We were on Instagram, YouTube. We were even doing Zoom. And the thing that was funny to me is when I heard people say that I was just waiting on the invitation. I'm waiting on you to call me. But we send out hundreds of texts and
we text and email and all kinds of stuff.
Things to reach
I don't
everybody.
think there's an excuse, but I think that many people just got comfortable, got complacent. They got to a place where there were services and churches on all day, so they could just take their time. If they didn't make it to the 12 o'clock service, there was somebody coming on at 1 o'clock, or not 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 6 o'clock, or before they went to bed. So they took for granted. I think many of us, even I, took for granted sometimes the word.
And if you're one of the people who feel like because other people are not coming, so you're not coming, I just want to encourage you that the doors are open. You can come into the house anytime. We are here. We are ready to receive you. There is no reason why you have to feel like you're not welcome, because you are welcome. This is God's house. The doors are open to you. For whatever your reason is. If you're fully vaccinated, you're welcome. If you're not vaccinated, you're welcome. We have things in place. We have things ready to receive you. But don't let not coming to church be reasons we've just spoken about. God is ready for you to come back into his house, to be in fellowship with his people, and to do what your assignment is. We are all called to go be therefore and teach, baptize, and do what the Great Commission has commanded us to do. And you are a part of that Great Commission. but we just need you to come. We need you to come.
So we want you to type in the comment sections some of the things, maybe some of the things you like for us to talk about. We have, we'll be celebrating August our 31 years of marriage. Wow, 31 years of marriage and raising 6 children. We haven't been perfect, nor are our children perfect, but we serve a perfect God. We have 31 years of marriage, 15, 20 years of preaching and pastoring, and we're going to bring all of that to the table. We're going to talk about raising our children, a blended family. We're going to talk about a lot of those things, controversial things, things that are going to make you think, things that are going to make you say, as Arsenio Hall you say, things that make you go, We're going to make you think about some things. And we want to hear from you. What are some of the topics you like us to talk about? Or what are some of the topics you like, maybe you like to be a guest and talk about some topics. Write down your topics.
Okay. Now, our next segment of the talk at the Call Worship Center of Talk, we're going to be talking about reasons why you should stay in church. So let's talk about it again.
See you soon.